to fail. And I say that with the most excitement and enthusiasm possible because it is not bad to fail. And I'm going to take you through and show you some of the reasons why failure is going to benefit you so much more. And I know in society today, whenever we hear people fail or we feel like a failure, it's like this big negative connotation of us like just being losers, right? It's not it. It's not it. Failure, it teaches us. There's so many positive things with failure, and I'm going to walk you through it. And hopefully you'll see the word fail as something positive in the end instead of something negative, right? It's part of the process. Okay, now walking in gum, there's nothing positive about that. I just found that picture. I thought it was kind of funny. It fit into the fail, like, oh, just that feeling of, oh, I stepped in gum or, oh, I failed. But hopefully by the end, we can make a little bit more of a better process, a little bit like put failure as a positive thing. Okay, so number 1, people can relate when you fail. While it might feel super embarrassing at the time, people can relate to failure. You'd be surprised at how much support exists when we fail if we just come out and say it rather than hiding it. And in this Because I Can Clan, in the 0 to 100K group, I tell you where I fell. I tell you things that just don't always go as peachy, right? And you're like, oh, it's okay, or I felt that. And I've gotten a lot of support from just being open and honest about it. People can relate. Like it makes you more human. There's so much fake stuff out there in the internet that sometimes it's really refreshing to have someone that shows you that life's not perfect, right? People can relate to it. Okay, so I'm actually going to get a little bit vulnerable here and tell you about one of my businesses that failed. This was about 8 years ago, and it was a company called Makia Creations. I had applied to an angel investor, and I won, which I was really excited about. There was either 700 or 800 applicants, and he only took 7 or 8 people, and I was one of them. And I was pretty darn excited, and I got some funding to start a company called Makia Creations. But part of the deal was that I had to work with these specific businessmen. And I'm like, yeah, they're smart. They know what they're doing, right? I started working with these businessmen, and I built, my idea was to start selling these craft kits and do it as an MLM company. Why? Because Utah is like the MLM capital of the world. And I didn't feel good about it. They kept saying, you need to raise your prices. And I'm like, it's a craft kit. I'm sending wood and scrapbook paper. They're not going to be paying $20, $30 for these craft kits. Like, this is crazy. Anyway, so, but I kept working with them. It started in August, and by about January, they had spent all of the money except $10,000. And then in January, the 1st of January, one of these smart businessmen, doesn't have to do with the angel investor. The angel investor, love him. I cannot speak highly enough about this man. It was just some of the people that were a part of this group that he didn't really know. One of the guys came in and said, Allison, you realize why you got this angel investment money, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, you're a woman and you're a tax write-off because we knew that you were going to fail. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you knew I was going to fail? Like, everything that I'm telling you that I want to do, you're telling me is a bad idea, and you're pushing me to do these MLM programs. You're pushing me to do the stuff that I don't really want to do. And what I wanted to do was set up an affiliate program, do a daily deal site. Okay, you know where that's going. And start selling products quick and for cheap. And they were like, no, you do not want to do affiliate programs. You do not want to sell your products fast, and you do not want to sell them for cheap. So the end of January, I fired them. I just said, I don't care. I've got $10,000 left in the bank. I'm done. I'm done. I was tired of being treated like garbage and tired of them spending my money and not listening to my ideas. So I fired them and built a company called Pick Your Plum. And so I took that $10,000 and I built a company that has made millions of dollars. Because of that Make It Creations failure, I learned how to be stronger. I learned who I really was. I learned the whole process. I learned that sometimes people are just jerks and you just need to fire them and get them out of your life. So when I started Pick Your Plum, I didn't tell my angel investor. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And the first week, we sold more than an entire month of Make It Creations. I was pretty excited about that. I called him 2 weeks later, my angel investor, and I said, okay, this is what I did. I fired the guys that I was supposed to work with, but I've made more money. And my angel investor was so proud of me. It was such a fun experience to have. Like this company that, I don't know, I invested a lot of time, effort, and energy into it, and my name was all over it, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't working with everything that was going on, and it ended up, we closed the door on Make It Creations, and then we opened the door on Pick Your Plum, which I loved. And the funny thing is, these smart businessmen who told me that I was a tax write-off and just put that stuff in my head, they actually called me 6 months later after Pick Your Plum, and they said, hey, we were wondering if we could take you out to lunch. We've been watching the growth of Pick Your Plum, and we're so excited for you, and we're wondering if we could just pick your brain and find out what you're doing. And I was like, I'm busy. No way. Because the whole time they told me that my ideas were awful. So that was I see that as a horrible crash, but yet so much positive came out of it. And I'll keep going through, and I'll tell you even more stories about it. So when you fail, it makes you dig deeper. It helps to shed light on what you want and where you're going. So like that Make It Creations, at first I thought craft kits were a really good idea, right? Like these little mini Super Saturday type things, and we could sell them all over the world. I was doing them currently in my garage on a small scale of about 7 to 8 groups a month. And I'm like, oh, I'll make this huge. It'll be so great. But by the time all the expenses went in, it wasn't working. So then I started digging deeper, and I'm like, what if I just sell parts of it? I just sell the twine to it, or I just sell the washi tape to it instead of creating this whole kit, right? It helped me dig a little bit deeper, finalizing on what eventually turned into Pick Your Plum. It made me stronger. I think I'm a pretty confident person. And when these guys started telling me that I was a tax write-off and that I was a woman and that was the only reason why I was chosen, it made me stronger. It made me want to fight and want to win even more, to prove to them that I could do this and I was not a tax write-off. Okay, another example. Some of you guys have heard this. I had a college teacher that told me, I turned in my paper, my English professor turned in my paper, and he gave it back to me and gave me an F. And I had spent so much time on this paper, and I was so excited to turn it in. I just thought that this was an A+ paper, and when he handed it back to me and it was a big fat F, we had a little bit of a talk. And anyway, after the long process of me saying, hey, I think I've got more in this paper, and him coming back and saying, no, this paper's horrible, we finally got it to a C. We agreed on a C, which to me was crazy at the time. And then after he gave me the C, he looked at me and said, Allison, I think you should drop out of college. That's what a college professor told me, was to drop out of college. I didn't listen to him. I did change my major, and I went into math and science because 2 + 2 is 4, right? Where English is more subjective. But that was, I don't know, that was like, I can't believe in the first place a professor would ever say that to me, but it helped me to fight more. And I just signed a contract for writing a book. I know I'm pretty excited, a little scared. It probably will have some spelling errors, but I'll have people help me with that. That pushed me, and that motivated me to be better. Like this college professor, even though he told me like such mean things, it pushed me and it motivated me to be stronger and to fight for what I want. It keeps you humble. Failure keeps you humble. Like imagine if you succeeded every single time. Like nobody would want to talk to you. Nobody would want to be your friend, right? It keeps you humble. Like failures are a good thing. It causes creativity. Like the whole thing with Makia and then over to Pick Your Plum. It causes creativity. Okay, I'm going to show you something that's pretty cool. So this is How Does She? This is the back end of the How Does She Facebook page. I can't get it automated because I'm not in play mode. Okay, so right here's a post. We just posted it like an hour ago on How Does She. Look, we've got these beautiful 15 no-fail camping foods. It looks beautiful. It looks awesome, right? Well, this is how we were posting it prior to Facebook. They actually put a block on our account for 3 days just because we uploaded a video where we bought the music, but Facebook didn't think that we did. And so it shut down our account for 3 days and we couldn't upload any pictures. Like we could write a comment and put links, but we couldn't upload any pictures. And this was at a time right before fourth quarter. And we're like, no, because if you stop posting on Facebook, your engagement goes down. And I'll talk about Facebook and all that stuff coming up. But I want you to see the difference. So when Facebook shut us down, it caused us to be super creative. And so instead of posting pictures, beautiful pictures, we started posting a sentence like this one and then a link. And we're like, we've got to post something. We've got to try something. So instead of being able to post these beautiful pictures that everybody tells you to do, we started posting like this. And I want you guys to look at these little blue arrows. So this one where we posted this beautiful picture describing what it was, it had 21 link clicks. So 21 people came over to the site from this post, okay? Now look at this one. This is the same the same post. Like if you go here, it's to the same post as this one. This one had 240 link clicks. More people were interested in this style post than this style post. So what we did is we started doing this all over the holidays and we started getting what's called cookies. So when people buy, we get a part of it's called an affiliate. We get a part of the sales. You guys, this little trick made us a lot of money through those cookies. And it was just because Facebook put a block on us. Like that was a big failure, right? But that big failure caused us to be creative and our income went sky high. Like it was awesome. Now I've tried to do this on a product. I did it on, the fabric. I've done it on the fabric before and it doesn't convert. It didn't convert as much. It sent a whole bunch of people over. Like I got like 2,000 clicks, but it didn't convert as well. And so what I'm going to try to do in the future is give them a little bit more information. So the more I can educate them and still cause and create that curiosity, then it's going to have a better conversion. So you do want to educate a little bit and then put a link in there that's going to help cause the creativity, and then it's going to convert a lot more because you can send a whole bunch of traffic over, but if it's not converting, it's not worth it. So test out both ways and see what's going on. Okay, next one. Okay, number 6, know that it's okay to fail. Or knowing that it's okay to fail allows you to make more risks in life. Okay, so the biggest tragedy that I see a lot is people in life are moving so cautiously that they miss the opportunity to even live. Zero risk equals zero potential for reward. It does. It does. It's okay to fail, because once you know that that happens, then you're going to take more risks. Like, that's just part of it, right? Now, you get smarter and reduce your risks and reduce the time that you fail. But knowing that you might or you will fail along the way with little things, it's okay. It's okay. Like, for instance, I sold straws with Pick Your Plum. In the beginning, I just did little tiny investments. And the first one sold well, the second one sold well again. And then I became more confident in it to be able to pay. This was crazy. I bought $13,000 worth of straws, and I made over $60,000 because at the beginning I was okay to risk a little bit on those straws. And that little bit I risked, like, I think it was around like $1,000. Like, it was something smaller. And this is when we had some traction on Pick Your Plum. So I risked a little bit, knowing that I could potentially have awesome reward, and it worked. Now, on the flip end, when I didn't do it smart, one time I bought these wooden watermelons that were just raw. I cut them out, had some guy cut them out, spent like $2,000 to $3,000, hoping to make 10. I think I sold like 3 or 4 of them, and didn't make very much money at all. So yeah, when I talk about failure and risk, like, be smart about it. Just don't go out and like throw your money around and wish, right? It's got to be an educated risk. You've got to reduce your chances of failure. But when you do, it's okay. It really is. Success tastes far sweeter after major failures. Pick Your Plum was so much sweeter because I had failed with Makia Creations, because I went through that whole process. And when those guys called and asked to take me to lunch after they had dissed me and told me that I was a failure and then I was succeeding on another business, do you guys know how sweet it tasted? And I probably shouldn't admit that, but it did. It gave me more confidence that I knew what I was doing, that it was okay. Like, this whole process was such a journey, and it led me to be a stronger person and a better entrepreneur. Okay, number 8. You will learn substantially far more from failure than you will success. Like a kid on a bicycle that falls and crashes, they're not going to go through that same pothole again, right? You just learn. You learn. Okay, and the last one. Most of the time, no one knows you failed, and they think that you are a ninja, an absolute ninja. Now, my first webinar that I did, my first teaching, my first thing that I did, I thought was a hot mess. I thought it was I was so embarrassed by it. And then I started asking people, and they loved it. They didn't see what I saw. And I think just as human beings, we get so wrapped up in our own selves that we don't even have time to look for other people's mistakes, right? Like, it's just, we don't. And so mistakes happen, and most of the time people won't even know. So I want you to take a deep breath and know that failure is okay. Just be smart and don't take huge, ginormous risks investing a lot of money. Start small, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And if failure happens, laugh it off, joke about it. Like, all the misspellings that I had in one of my first webinars that I ever did, I mean, that was crazy. That was embarrassing. But you know what? Most of the people didn't even notice. I just noticed when it popped up, and I'm like, shoot. And then we got to cut like 2 emails, and most people didn't even care. So failure is going to happen. Embrace it. Learn from it and be stronger. Learn and make more money in the process. All right. Go failure. I'm excited to hear about your wins, and let me know your failures too, because you know what? I'm going to let you know about mine because it's going to help me. It's going to help me improve. All right, we'll see you in the next one.